Tonight, before you go to bed, you'll probably lock a door, check a window, turn off the lights, pull up a blanket, and fall asleep without a second thought. It feels completely normal. But for almost all of human history, that should have been impossible. Sleep is one of the most dangerous things an animal can do. The moment you fall asleep, you become blind to your surroundings, slower to react, and almost completely defenseless. In the wild, that's usually a death sentence. A sleeping rabbit gets eaten. A sleeping deer gets eaten. A sleeping monkey gets eaten. Yet every single night, nearly 8 billion humans willingly lose consciousness for hours, not inside fortified bunkers, not surrounded by armed guards, just asleep. Which raises a strange question. Why don't wild predators attack sleeping humans? For thousands of years, our ancestors slept under trees, inside caves, across open grasslands, and beside forests inhabited by wolves, lions, leopards, hyenas, bears, and countless other predators. A modern person would assume this should have been a catastrophe. After all, humans aren't particularly fast, strong, or dangerous while asleep. By all logic, we should have been easy prey, but we weren't. And the deeper scientists looked into this mystery, the stranger it became. Because the real question isn't why predators don't attack sleeping humans. The real question is how humans became the one animal that predators learned to avoid. Somehow, a species that spends a third of its life unconscious managed to become one of the most feared creatures on Earth. And once you understand how that happened, you'll never look at sleep or human civilization the same way again. Imagine you're a deer. As the sun disappears below the horizon and darkness spreads across the landscape, you're forced to make a terrible choice. Stay awake and eventually collapse from exhaustion, or go to sleep and risk never waking up. Every animal on Earth faces this same dilemma, but different species have evolved different solutions. Some sleep standing up, some retreat into trees. Some sleep for only a few minutes at a time, while others keep half of their brain awake even as the other half rests. Across the animal kingdom, nature has spent millions of years trying to solve one problem. How do you sleep without getting eaten? At first glance, humans seem remarkably bad at this. We lie flat on the ground, become deeply unconscious, and remain asleep for hours at a time. Unlike many animals, we can't sprint away from danger, detect predators through powerful senses, or instantly wake at the slightest disturbance. By all logic, humans should be among the easiest targets in nature. But that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Researchers studying sleep patterns noticed something strange. Humans often sleep far more deeply than many prey animals. Deer remain alert even while resting. Horses can doze while standing. Countless species are constantly prepared to flee. Yet humans routinely enter long periods of deep sleep, almost as if our ancestors weren't expecting predators to appear in the middle of the night. That shouldn't make sense. Evolution usually punishes overconfidence, especially when survival is at stake. So why would humans evolve a style of sleep that seems so risky? The answer begins with a discovery that completely changes how we imagine prehistoric nights. Because ancient humans weren't facing the darkness alone. Picture a campsite 100,000 years ago. No walls, no alarms, no locks. Just a small group of humans surrounded by darkness. To a modern person, it seems impossibly vulnerable. Yet this campsite possessed something more powerful than almost any natural defense found in the animal kingdom. That might sound simple, but it was a revolutionary survival strategy. Most animals rely primarily on individual survival. Humans relied on collective survival. While some members of the group slept, others remained awake. While one family rested, another listened to the sounds of the night. Danger didn't have to be detected by everyone. It only had to be detected by someone. What's remarkable is that this system may not have required planning at all. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies discovered a fascinating pattern. People naturally stagger their sleep. Some stay awake late into the night. Others wake before dawn. Children wake unpredictably. Older adults often sleep less. The result is extraordinary. Throughout most of the night, someone in the group is awake. Without schedules, without technology, and without assigning shifts, the group effectively becomes a living alarm system. That alone would be an incredible advantage. But it doesn't fully solve the mystery. After all, predators attack groups all the time. Lions attack herds of buffalo. Wolves hunt packs of elk. Simply gathering together doesn't make an animal untouchable. So why weren't humans just another target? The answer may lie in a technology so powerful that it fundamentally changed humanity's relationship with the night. Fire. Most people think fire's greatest contribution was cooking food, and that's certainly important. But fire may have accomplished something even more extraordinary. It conquered darkness itself. Imagine approaching a human camp as a predator. For millions of years, the night belonged to you. Darkness was your camouflage, your hunting ground, your greatest advantage. Then, suddenly, in the distance, You see something impossible: light, flames dancing in the darkness, smoke drifting into the sky, crackling sounds, moving shadows. A circle of brightness where strange creatures remain awake long after sunset. To us, a campfire feels warm and comforting. To a wild predator, it is something entirely unnatural. Researchers studying large carnivores have repeatedly observed that many predators avoid fire whenever possible. But ancient humans didn't simply discover fire, they mastered it. They learned how to transport it, maintain it, protect it, and build entire social lives around it. The campfire wasn't just a source of warmth, it was a declaration. For the first time in history, the night no longer belonged exclusively to predators. Humans had claimed part of it for themselves, but even that explanation leaves another mystery unsolved. Some predators will occasionally ignore fire. Some are bold, some are desperate, some are simply curious. If fire alone were the answer, attacks on sleeping humans should still have been common. Yet they weren't. And that's when researchers began considering a far more unsettling possibility. Maybe predators weren't avoiding human camps because they feared the fire. Maybe they feared the creatures sitting around it. Most people imagine ancient humans as prey, fragile creatures huddled around campfires, constantly looking over their shoulders for predators lurking in the darkness. But that's the wrong picture entirely. By the time many large predators regularly encountered humans, our ancestors were already becoming something else: predators themselves. And not just predators, but unusually dangerous ones. Imagine the world from a wolf's perspective. Humans move in coordinated groups. They communicate constantly. They can throw objects with remarkable accuracy. They pursue prey across vast distances without giving up. And perhaps most importantly, they return with weapons. Most predators prefer easy, low-risk meals. They target animals that are weaker, slower, isolated, or unlikely to fight back. Humans didn't fit that pattern. Over time, many predators may have learned a disturbing lesson. A human might appear vulnerable, but attacking one could create far bigger problems. This is almost unheard of in nature. If a predator kills a deer, other deer don't organize a response. They flee. But humans behave differently. Harm one member of a group, and others may come looking for answers. They return carrying spears, fire, traps, and something even more dangerous: planning. Humans could remember. They could track, they could anticipate. What began as a simple attack could become a prolonged conflict. And predators, despite their reputation, are surprisingly cautious. They don't hunt what they can kill. They hunt what they can kill safely. As humans became more organized, more intelligent, and more cooperative, they became increasingly unsafe targets. But the story gets even stranger. Eventually, humans developed a kind of superpower that no predator could fully understand. We learned how to predict danger before it arrived. Look around your bedroom. The walls, the doors, the windows, the roof over your head, it all feels completely ordinary. Yet every one of these things is the result of a survival project that began hundreds of thousands of years ago. At its core was a single challenge: how do you sleep without dying? Early humans experimented with caves, elevated shelters, defensive camps, and eventually entire villages. While other species adapted through biology, humans adapted through engineering. This is one of the most overlooked facts in human history. When faced with a problem that evolution couldn't solve quickly enough, humans built solutions instead. Predators evolved sharper teeth. Humans invented architecture. Predators evolved claws. Humans built walls. Predators evolved better night vision. Humans created firelight. Rather than changing their bodies, humans changed their environment. That alone would be remarkable. But archaeologists and anthropologists eventually uncovered something even more surprising. The safest place in nature was never a cave, a tree, or a mountaintop. It was something far more powerful: a human community. At this point, the question has completely changed. We began by asking why wild predators rarely attack sleeping humans. But after following the trail through campfires, cooperation, and prehistoric survival, a much deeper question emerges. How did humans become so safe that we can afford to sleep deeply at all? The answer isn't strength. Humans aren't the strongest animals on Earth. It isn't speed. Countless creatures can outrun us. It isn't size either. Compared to many predators, we're surprisingly fragile. The answer is cooperation. A lone human in the wilderness is vulnerable, just like any other animal. But a group of humans becomes something entirely different. Together, they function as an intelligence network, a warning system, a construction crew, a defense force, a fire maintenance team, and a weapon-making workshop all at once. Long before the first cities appeared, humans had already developed something no other species possessed on the same scale: shared security. That may be humanity's greatest invention. The feeling of safety you experience tonight isn't a modern luxury. It's an ancient inheritance. For thousands of generations, humans worked to solve one of nature's hardest problems: how to rest without becoming prey. And once you see that, everyday things begin to look different. Every lock on your door, every wall around your home, every neighborhood, every city, and every civilization is really an extension of the same prehistoric project. We have spent hundreds of thousands of years building systems that make sleep safe. Tonight, when you close your eyes, you'll perform an act that would terrify almost every creature on Earth. You'll willingly become unconscious, motionless, and defenseless for hours. Yet you'll do it without fear. Not because predators disappeared, not because nature suddenly became kinder, but because countless generations before you dedicated themselves to solving this problem. They built fires that pushed back the darkness. They formed groups that watched over one another. They shared responsibilities, designed shelters, created communities, and slowly transformed the most dangerous hours of the day into the safest. And that's the final twist in this story. The real story was never about predators. It was about cooperation. The same instinct that protected a small group of humans around a campfire eventually built villages, cities, nations, and civilizations. Humans didn't survive because we were the strongest animals. We survived because we learned how to protect one another. Every night, when you lock your door and climb into bed, you're participating in one of humanity's oldest traditions, a system created by people who refused to accept that sleep had to be dangerous. You didn't invent safety, you inherited it.